Hello, world, the internet, and all who inhabit it. Welcome back to Dave's Corner. Today, we are gonna try something new. So, Vampire the Masquerade, Shadows of New York is a visual novel, which has never really been my thing, but it's part of the Humble Bundle, and I will try anything once. So, we are gonna click a new game, and we are going to try and see how this goes. I'll probably only make one episode of it, both because, like I said, visual novels aren't really my thing. Hopefully the story's good, but what we'll do is I'll probably try to read through it and make an episode, and then it'll also preserve it for those of you who buy the Humble Bundle to go and see the story for yourself. Because, I mean, ostensibly, this is... my channel is telling you what you should and should not pick out of the Humble Bundle. So, oh well. Okay, let's get to it. My kingdom is not of this world. You see, it lies far outside of concrete, tangible reality. I've tried to identify the way people reach it, and I'm convinced it has something to do with the moon. Some say the moon's aura can turn them insane. I've always heard the phrase, moonstruck and lunatic. The way I see it, moonlight gives them some subliminal permission to reveal their true selves. Never do that. And so whenever they let the silver radiance guide them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out. A dance of horrors and marvels begins. It's 3:31 a.m. Welcome to Big Beat Burger. Greasy burger place at 3:30 in the morning. Nothing good ever happens. If you're here at this hour, you're not exactly readying up to be a productive member of society come tomorrow morning. More likely, you're praying that the sunrise never comes. Insatiable children of the night gather round, hoping to bask in the afterglow of tonight's victories, unwind after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, greedily reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea they are only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've been coming here almost every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement. Not creepy at all. I'm basically a voyeur and unashamed to admit it. It gave me insight about the human condition I'd never otherwise have gathered, and more importantly, a necessary skill to make ends meet as a journalist. Oh, we're a journalist. It explains a lot. As I write on my crappy old laptop, patiently waiting for the legion of negative voices in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I keep my senses peeled to pick up stories around me. Of course, there are a lot of regular events such as food fights are nothing to write home about, aside from my unfortunate tendency to become collateral damage in someone else's battles. Up to this day, I've had to wash my clothes because Coke, Diet Coke, hot coffee, apple pie, and some sort of a improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. Sometimes this hobby exhausting, sometimes it's disturbing, sometimes it's dangerous, although not as risky as back when I wasn't carrying pepper spray. That's a good thing to always have. Everybody should carry either a knife or pepper spray or something they can defend themselves with, just gonna say. Still, the sights I've taken in over the years made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories I don't know where to begin. Theatrical breakups, impromptu mourning parties, unexpected friendships forged in the fires of senseless battle. A lady in gorgeous Givenchy dress ordering a box of takeout chicken nuggets, paying in cash with her hands completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wants a napkin. She said no. Two thirsty macho dudes shamelessly going for it in the corner, hushed moaning filling the lobby while everyone around valiantly fights to act as usual and maintain an illusion of normalcy. A straight-up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drugged bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode, trying to break all the windows. The big guy left the joint fully convinced he KO'd himself, while the service worker was just standing next to him. Seemed proud of his victory, too. A middle-aged hag getting a heart attack after screaming her lungs out to not let Muslims near her food, just because she saw a white girl wearing a hairnet behind the counter. A masked couple robbing the restaurant of 30 hamburgers, forcing the employees to cook at gunpoint. Police later said they were art students reenacting some hipster book they read. This is life. This is humanity at its worst and best. I think probably more its worst, but that's more at 3 in the morning. This is the noise that serves as the foundation for my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is... As pathetic as it may sound these days, this is the only place where I feel alive. Sometimes I think of myself as a leech, feeding on those people's stories, emotions, and personalities just because I'm not satisfied with mine. At times I think of my psyche as some kind of shitty postmodern construct that is fundamentally incapable of honesty, but only yearns for something felt and truthful. Does this even make any sense? I look at the screen of my laptop. 3:47 a.m. At this point, I'm almost somnambulic, but nothing interesting has happened yet. Feels like the customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for others to provide a fun diversion. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time, go find your own. I think it's time to call it a night. The coffee I always order so that they don't kick me out is undrinkable. Ugh, I reread the rough draft I've been working on for the last 6 hours. This is pure trash. I hold the backspace button until Google Documents page is nothing but a calm white slate and let out a sound of deep relief. There's no pleasure more intoxicating for a frustrated writer than ragging on someone even worse than you. And what target is easier than a dumb bitch who used to be 10 minutes ago? Check the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m., and I have a hunch that it's not gonna end well. And it's not because I'm an irresponsible dumbass who's going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function on a basic level despite like 4 hours of sleep. It's because I always have a hunch things are not going the way they're supposed to. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. The loud clatter of keyboards assaults me from all sides, makes the splitting headache unbearable. Used to be I dreamed of nothing else but being part of the New York Lodestar editorial team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly, first magazine I ever bought for myself. Now simply hearing the word Lodestar is enough to ruin my mood, never mind seeing all these old farts phoning in more reactionary opinion columns and Wikipedia level of analysis of current events. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. They used to destroy and rebuild my worldview every month. They shaped my thinking about politics, art, journalism. They even pointed me toward my favorite cigarette brand, for God's sake. Don't smoke. I've said this before. Smoking is bad for your health. You shouldn't do it. Then some talented people started leaving for greener pastures. Some got too wrapped up in their own neurosis. Some became complacent. All of them committed the sin of allowing themselves to grow older. Fresh blood was deemed unnecessary, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodestar talks about Lodestar, it's because of a few idealistic contributors willing to accept meager pay while putting in serious work. Other than that, the magazine specializes in publishing pale echoes of provocative ideas I heard somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped in aesthetic that hasn't been cutting edge for a decade. No wonder the readership is in a free fall, but even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, if anyone from the outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixing its course or its holes, they will be swiftly taken care of. I should know. Been there, done that. As it stands, the only full-time staff member who doesn't make me regularly attempt to cringe my face off with his writing, cough cough, is Lodestar's editor-in-chief, Brian N.G., the man sitting in front of me right now. Of course, he only has time for editorials these days. A drop in the sea of needs. Managerial duties hit him hard. It's the second time he lets out a theatrical cough like this. He said his piece, now it's time for me to react, and I'm coming up blank. Great. Well, what do you want me to say, Brian? I'm pissed off. I can tell you've already made up your mind, but you still want to go through the motions just to make me feel listened to. Whatever. Let's do this. I guess major fraud. Brian, my article isn't even something like lashing out at the rich and hoping they don't hit back. I think Double Spiral's investors would appreciate being told they're being scammed. That's if, and that's a big if, they're not a conscious part of the scam. Oh, come on! And even if they weren't, I doubt they'd be generous enough to protect us from the fallout. You're avoiding the core of the issue. No, I believe I've been pinpointed it in a precise way. If it were up to me, I'd greenlight the article here and now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you're killing the article just because some rich guy told you he doesn't like it. Get real, this is not about some millionaire jerk calling me to make an offer I can't refuse. What is this about then? Because it looks an awful lot like it's about my boss telling me this outlet can't afford the legal action we've already been threatened with. Oh, lawyers. So millionaire interference. Oh, for crying out loud, Julia. Don't make me treat you like a child. You know how this works. I publish your story. It's Thiel versus Gawker all over again. A lawsuit here, a lawsuit there, until we're bled dry. I have a mortgage. I have 3 mouths waiting to be fed at home. I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some... Don't you think it's telling you mentioned your mortgage first? Really, that was a bit of a low blow. Just asking questions. I know better than to get into these empty semantic arguments with you, Miss Swinsky. You're good at them. The problem is, you're still not good enough. Meaning? You're too in love with weaving a good story and establishing a constructive narrative to let facts get in the way. You've got enough boring suits with no principles on board these days. They always give you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using facts as a way to approach some kind of truth. Except facts can blindside you, and Double Spiral has enough facts to water down your story to the point where it makes no sense to publish it. Their HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing counter-narrative, and they're doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but will put every little thing in question. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, and a sexual predator, and a downright satanic guy. Julia. Do you personally believe it or not? This is not... You've listened to the tapes, you've read the transcripts, you've seen the documents, you've got the files. I'm asking for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Of course I do, but that's beside the point. It's not. Look, how about I just say it out loud and save us both some time? We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing very well that there's only one way it's going to end. You've got a mortgage and 3 mouths to feed. You prioritize the well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of greater good. I get it. I really do. Yet, for some reason, it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalizing your decisions so that I forgive you, officially exonerate you. I'm not the bad guy here, Julia. I wouldn't say you are, but it seems to me you won't be content with me just saying that. To me, it looks like we're having this talk because you're hoping that by the end, I'll somehow see things your way and call you a good man. He mutters something under his breath and ends with a self-pitying chuckle. If only I might be. Protecting my ego here somewhat, that much is true. But I'm not deluded. I know that you're going to call me a scumbag by the time this conversation is over. Oh, come on, don't turn this into a pity party. No, I'm absolutely a scumbag. And why is that? Because I'm firing you. Okay, I didn't see that coming. You're joking. This isn't you. No way you're gonna say it's just a prank. I know you. This isn't you. This isn't me. It's them. What them? Who's them? He glances left and right and then points upward for a short moment. When he speaks again, it's in a hushed voice. You know, the big kahunas. I can't really question them, and they wanted your head on a silver platter. He's not looking me in the eye. You're not joking. As I said, I would never joke about stuff like this. It's real. It's real. All these years, all this grind, all my plans, and for what? You know I deserve better, and I always deserve better, and I always end with me going down the drain to the sewers. No. Take a few deep breaths. Don't lose the plot. Keep yourself together, you stupid idiot. The moment you show weakness, they go for your throat. Get back in control. You can't do this. I wish I didn't have to, but it's a lost cause. No, I mean, it's impossible. Julia, you can't fire someone who's never been hired in the first place. Lodestar has been my biggest source of income for the past few years. That much is true, but technically nobody's ever hired me here. It was all freelance jobs. A full-time position only serves as a kind of dangling carrot, a promise of a decent pay grade, career perspectives, maybe even some kind of insurance to save my failing health. And the recognition I would get for being a part of the Lodestar team, a position that everyone around me seems to respect, aside from me. Then why did I want it so much? There will time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care. You know what I mean. If I let you work even under a fake name, it would be the guillotine for me. This is ridiculous. You know I'm going to start shopping the story around the second I leave this room, don't you? Of course, I know. I told him. Any response? Let us worry about that. That's not ominous. Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. I do wonder if I could get accustomed to one of those loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use. Hey, mechanical keyboards are the best. I use one. They're great. They feel good. I don't care if they're loud. Whenever I did my work in here, I was still expected to bring my own crappy laptop and sit close to the lobby. Always on the outside, no matter how hard I tried to break in. A vibration in my back pocket. Feels like a bad omen. I decide to ignore it for now. I've been working on the story for, I don't know, 16 months off and on? I know. You kept cheering me on. I know. We'd even agreed on the pay I'd receive. I know. I'm 2 months behind on my rent. No, wait. 2.5. Don't you dare look at me this way. You don't have the right. I didn't know. Well, now you do. Look, if there's anything I can do to help. If you can't tell your big kahunas to screw off, I don't think there's a single thing. Julia. I pull out a smoke and light it up. Please don't do that. There's a smoke detector here. No worries, Nick turned it off a few weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he's done in the past 5 years. Good old Nick, the perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own, just relies on his purely algorithmic taste to stay likable. And the best thing is, it works. Funny, I used to dream about his job. It was Brian who killed the stream, making me realize Nick won't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of investigative journalism instead. It wasn't the career I ever wanted to pursue, but to my dismay, I turned out to be surprisingly good at it, until this Montgomery thing happened. Serves me right. Lessons learned. Should have pursued my dreams instead. Stop it. Nicholas is a good friend, and a respected critic, a member of my team, and put out that smoke. People tell me I let you step all over me. Why do I even let you act this way? Because you once told me honesty is most important in mentor-student relationship, and that it works both ways, and because I thought we were friends. He bites his lip and stares sideways to avoid my eyes. At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. Must have been a terrible mentor if I didn't even teach you that. I don't have a response for that. The best I can do for now is just stay silent. I don't feel too stable right now, like I could explode any second. Julia, I might have failed as a guide, but I would do what I can not to leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for all your troubles, but... Ugh, wait a second. Another vibration in my pocket, another foreboding feeling. This time I reluctantly take the smartphone out of my pocket. If it has to rain, why not let it pour? A new email, a lengthy one. And the sender, speak of the devil. No, this can't be. Christ. I just got an email from Mila Lopez. She claims she's just been laid off from Double Spiral, same as Mike Antonoff and Jared Rivera. What? What happened? I'll spare you all her insults, okay? The key thing is, it seems their HR knows all the confidential information about my journalistic investigation and used it to shut everyone's mouths. Hell, apparently Montgomery walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being, dumb and careless. Brian goes pale. I think he has very good reason to. You scumbag, you outed my sources? Well, of course not. What are you even saying? Don't you dare play coy. It must have been either you or me, no one else, and you know the way I work. My investigation was basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting spots, encryption upon encryption, every direct quote rewritten 5 times just in case. All sort of red herring scattered around. I know my stuff. You know I do. And this timing. Did you just pass the flash drive to your beloved big kahunas during a meeting as a sign of goodwill? Look, I get why you're upset, but why don't we just talk through this calmly? Okay, let's take a step by. In a deranged way, I realize you're just a passenger in your own body. Feels liberating. Let's just see how it unfolds. Calmly, yeah, screw you, Brian. Julia. I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I didn't know was an assassin or a corporate spy. I know I haven't messed it up, not in a way that would implicate all of them. You thought you could get away with this. I haven't done anything improper. Don't push the blame on me. So what you're claiming, it's all my fault because you're never the guilty one? It's always the bosses, the economy, the obligations you have, and now me? You're being silly. Quit with this martyr crap. Calm down or I'll have to... expletive. Calm down for God's sake. And so it goes. I yell out a lot of words I wanted to say for a long time, but held back. I fling out insults I've been workshopping for years, hoping I'd never use them. I break a few things. At times, for a split second, I see pity in somebody's eyes. It's going to haunt me for a long time, but in the heat of the moment, I don't care. These people, no, this company has nothing left to offer me, so at least let me take this catharsis. In the end, a security guard has to escort me out of the building, and that's the end of my journalistic career. I just feel like my world has crumbled to nothing. I mean, you have every right to. Like, if I were you, I would have already broken down into a sobbing mess. I'd love to, but I'm on a subway, far too proud to cry in public, even now. And? It's stupid, but I feel like someone out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear, just to see my reaction. Like it was a prank show and somebody was waiting to record me crying. So out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. That's the most Julia Sawinski thing I've ever heard. Spite is the greatest motivator, huh? Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now, to be honest. I just want to stay in bed until my landlord calls the cops to forcibly evict me. Not surprised. I always knew that whenever life decides to screw you over, it's always one thing after another. But this is... too much. How much is too much? Let's recap the last week of June 2019. I've been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I was ever hired. So let's just say my mentor broke every vague promise he ever made to me. A big thing I've been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly, and now they keep trying to reach me through every possible channel to threaten me or just yell at me, and they have every right to react like that. All of my side gigs were shut down. Nobody's replying to my email. Somebody's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes, and it worked. I still have no idea who's sending these messages around, but I've been asking, but listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get canceled by some mean-spirit delusional. I said don't worry about it. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews were stressful enough. A call came from Chicago, apparently. Apparently Dad has bladder cancer. Mom's in hysterics. She'd go crazy if she ever heard about my situation, so I have to pretend everything is okay when she calls. And she calls every day. And she won't just hang up before she offloads all her burdens on me. And I can't blame her, because we all have to learn to cope with Dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. I was robbed. All my documents and what little money I had, gone. Don't even know when or where it happened. And it's driving me crazy, because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. The list goes on. I don't want to sound paranoid, but it feels like a concerted attack. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I always know you hand-wave this topic away, but just remember that if anything happens, my place is your place. You don't have to go through it alone. I do. I've been a troublemaker, as self-centered as I may be. I don't want it to affect you. I know. Listen, I have another call. Alright, just call me if anything happens, no matter how dumb, and swing by whenever you can. I will, thank you. I put away my phone, exhale, and blankly stare in front of me. Christ. I glance at my reflection in the window, and just look at this idiot that requires me to dress formally. I still feel like a child cosplaying as an adult. Should have just followed the dress for the job you want advice and continued dressing up like a trust fund kid who keeps party on Brooklyn rooftops for years without a care in the world. It's only after a while that I realize the car is empty. Well, naturally so. I start feeling easy, but someone enters my peripheral vision. And that's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. Alright, guys. We're going to leave it on that cliffhanger. It's been fun. But, like, favorite, subscribe, hit the bell thingies. Maybe we'll do another video. Probably not, but, I don't want to ruin the whole story for you. So, yeah, let me know. Just tell me what you guys want, and I can make it happen. Anyway, guys, be safe out there, and peace!